once you get in the protocol, there's a system they put you through, and it's 2016. It's not 1985 anymore.
When we probably played with a lot of concussions back in the day.
Right. But no, so certainly once the doctors say he's cleared, he'll be back playing. But he's already back at practice.
So the health situation isn't as dire as people might perceive
Absolutely
it
not.
to be.
No, and we've got a mentality too of next man up, like most teams do. And we've got some really tough kids at Kennedy. I will tell you that. It's like any other program I've been at, but I will tell you, when you're talking about a Catholic school, you're talking about the Ursulines, the Moonies, and the JFKs, those kids have a little bit of a different toughness to them. Whether you're a Youngstown kid or you're a Warren kid, you're a tough kid. And so these kids play through some injuries that maybe other places they may not. So when we talk about injuries for our kids, it's got to be a real injury, like the broken hand, like a concussion, for that kid not to participate.
When we had Coach Beck on, it was like early part of the year, maybe week 3. Jacob had just gotten hurt.
Yep.
Has it been tough without him? And is it good that he hasn't played because people won't have a lot of him on film this year? I don't know.
I'm not sure about them not having him on film, because everybody knows who Jake Coates is.
Yeah.
But the good thing about not having Jake, if there is a good thing, is
Somebody else stepped up,
yes,
right?
Other guys had to step up, and they became players, which if Jake was here, we featured Jake. Jake got the ball a lot, and maybe some of those kids wouldn't have caught, like Highland Burton, wouldn't have had a great year like he's having for us right now. We've got two of the kids here, Tommy Yanovich and Danny McCartney, who played the receiver replacing Jake, and they've caught a bunch of bubbles and foxes and things like that we would always throw to Jake. And so those kids have caught those balls and made plays. So now we're not such a one-dimensional or an Evan Boyd and Jacob Coates team. We're more of a broad. So it's going to be tougher for a team to game plan us now.
Would you say he's receiver, slot, running back combination
Jake,
when he's healthy, when he's back?
Oh, he's a receiver, slot, return man. And you know some of the guys that I've coached through the years, and they're college football players. Jake is by far the best return guy I've ever coached. And I don't care who we're playing against, he's fantastic with the ball in his hands as a returner. So he certainly is a receiver, slot. I think when he goes to college, he's going to project as a slot for anybody with the speed and hands that he has. But and he does a great job for us in the secondary.
You lost your quarterback from last year, but
Yep.
Have you done okay in his replacement?
Oh, yeah. Again, the kid who's gone in, Gregory Vallant, he's done a great job for us. Certainly Coach Begg does a great job coaching up our quarterbacks.
He's a junior?
He's a junior. Coach Begg does a great job coaching up our quarterbacks. And, that kid's really come a long way over the last 2 years with Coach Begg. And then got some athletes around you, makes it a little easier to spread the ball around to those guys. But, the one thing that Kennedy reminds me of my days when I played at Ursuline is there's a lot of kids that are legacy players. On our defense, there's 7 kids whose family members have played at Kennedy. So, when they put that uniform on, there's something that a little special.
Ursuline, Mooney, and
Exactly.
Kennedy have that in common
Yes,
a lot.
exactly.
Is that a pride factor, you think?
Oh, for sure. I was a legacy kid at Ursuline, and I know what it meant to me, and I know what it means to these kids. So it's a little bit of a difference. And Gregory Vallant is one of those kids. He's a legacy kid. Obviously, the Coates kid. He's, Jake's a legacy player. So, certainly being a legacy player is part of what's helping our program.
Can Evan Boyd will you guys to the next round each week?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Saturday, I walked off the field and told that young man, you put us on your back today and carried us to a win. Cleveland Central Catholic's a physical, athletic football team. They're a Division IV program. And Evan played lights out. And yeah, he is that type of player. He's a tough, hard-nosed kid who competes as well as any kid I've ever coached. His competitive fire reminds me a lot of Sean Baker, a kid who played for me back in Canfield in the mid-2000s. And that's who Evan reminds me of, is competitive-wise.
He has a cup of coffee or two in the NFL, Sean Baker, yes?
Yep, just he played with the Browns this summer. They let him go in the last cut. So Evan, that competitiveness is very similar between those two players. So can Evan Boyd carry us to the next round with his teammates around him and him making plays and kind of driving us? For sure.
How does it look for you guys? Can you lose a game or even 2 and be okay? I mean, mentally, computer-wise?
That's the question. Is the computer-wise, yeah, we'd be fine. It's the mental.
You want a
issue.
home game for sure. Yes.
And I think that we would have a home game, so that's not. But obviously, it's a mental thing. When you're 8-0 and you're having the success that we've had this year, you never want to try to find out how your kids are going to come back from a loss, because we haven't had to do that. We certainly, the next 2 weeks, our games are going to be two of our most difficult games of the year. They're two really good football teams. Athletic, probably the best tailback we're going to face all year is this, or that we have faced all year, is going to be this Saturday at St. Joe's. And you know, St. Thomas is a really physical, well-coached football team, and they're huge. Compared to us, size-wise, they're absolutely huge. You were at the Mogador game last year, and I remember talking to pregame, and it looked like a JV team getting ready to go play a varsity team with a size difference. And that's what the size difference is between us and St. Joe's. But you can't measure that toughness. I mean, our kids at Kennedy, they're worn, hard-nosed kids. We certainly don't want to try to find out what it's going to be like to come off of a loss and try to get in the playoffs. We want to be firing on all cylinders when we get there.
Well, you got at Mogador, you got St. Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Is week 13 a reality? Is it the goal? Is it week 14? What is the team's thought process? I guess you're going to say week 11, but after you take care of business,
right.
1 week at a time.
You know, obviously, the goal at the beginning of the season, obviously, is to try to win your league. And that's attainable for us, but we got to win the next 2 games because St. Thomas has the same schedule in the league, or same record in the league as we have. So it may come down to us winning these last 2 games to win a league title. So obviously that's the number 1 goal. And then the second goal, last year, was to get to week 13. I think
Which is the regional final.
Exactly.
And played Mogador.
And we got there.
Wasn't a good result, though.
No. But, you know, our kids learned from that, and we returned a lot of players who went through that experience. But this year, our kids' goals is they want to practice on Thanksgiving morning. You know, that's a goal they have, is we want to practice. So that's week 14, you know, and so that's a goal they've got to get there. So certainly we got to get to week 11, win 11. And then week 12 and 13 will be absolute wars for us. And if we're fortunate enough to stay healthy and get through those 2 games.
You have to play St. Paul and Mogador potentially.
Potentially.
In back-to-back weeks.
Yes, and it looks that way when you look at the computer and you look at people's schedules. If things go the way that we think they will, we're probably going to have to play both of them. And, you know, and as far as we're concerned, whoever's first is first, and whoever's second, you got to play them both.
Well, if you're practicing when the Buckeyes play in the Big Ten Championship, you'll be in the state finals.
Yes. So. And if we're practicing when they're playing Michigan, that means we actually, because I think they play Michigan Thanksgiving week, don't they?
Yeah.
That means we made it to week 14 and our kids got to their goal.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, after that, we'll see what happens. I keep telling our kids that I've been 14-0 before, and 14-1 stinks. And it took a long time and a lot of years to get past that. But getting to week 14 special. And, you know, what we've been able to accomplish with these kids is because they bought in. You know, Coach Bayek has had success no matter where he's been. You know, he went to Canfield and took over a program that I believe before we got there had won 4 games in 4 years. In his 3rd year, we went 8-2. We went to Hubbard in '91, and our first year we went 8-2, won the league. When he left Hubbard, called me when he was going to Camel. This is a funny story because between him and I it is, and he called me up to go coach with him, and I said, Coach, I think you bit off more than you can chew this time. And
hey, one little bit there, huh?
And guess what? 2 years later, he was in the playoffs with that program. And then, you know, when he came here to JFK, he called me up, and I said the same thing. I said, Coach, I don't know a lot about JFK other than the history we've had from the 80s playing against them, but I think the program's really down right now.
They've been down. They were down.
And he goes, yeah, they are, but we're going to do it. And I said, I'm in. And guess what? Coach Bayek, again, this is the 4th program or whatever for him, and had success again here. And that's what's, you know, and the key to every place he's been is he has a system, and the kids have bought into his system. he makes it fun.
He's a
He
great
really
guy,
does.
a
He
great
just
guy to
makes
play
it
for
fun.
and coach
Oh,
with. I imagine.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, it's like having your big brother be the head coach.
Yeah.
And he is. He makes it a lot of fun. And he's obviously a really good football coach.
Well, let me shift gears. Another reason you're here, big Holy War game this weekend.
yeah.
You're
Oh,
a
yeah.
former participant in that, coach in that. Your perspective from an Ursuline player coach situation, what does this game mean to you, and how important is it on Friday night?
Well, you know, certainly you kind of throw
Will you
out-
see the game or no?
I'm going to the game.
You're
yes.
going to the game. Okay.
Yeah,
Because you play Saturday.
Yes. I'm not going to be scouting this weekend. I'm going to the game with my wife, and we're going to watch it. And that should tell you how important it is. That, you know, graduated from there almost 30 years ago now. And
86.
Still want to go back and see them. It's a big game. You kind of throw out the records, and I know Ursuline hasn't had a ton of success this year, but that doesn't matter because when you're playing Mooney, it's the Holy War. There's a word for that. The reason it's called a war is because that's how you feel about it. You know, you want to walk off that field winning that game, and if you're 2-8 and the other team's 9-0, it doesn't matter. You know, we played them my junior year. They were 9-0. We were 8-1, and I think the final score was 35-0. You know, it's
Who won?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Yeah.
We had Sterling Hayden.
Okay.
You know, that helps. But, you know, certainly the game means a lot to everybody. As a participant, it means a ton. As a coach, it meant a lot. And as a coach, the one thing that I saw as a coach is the alumni coming back, who we hadn't seen all year, coming back just to make sure our kids knew the importance of that day. And obviously, as a player, I knew the importance of that day. You know, you were two times we played for the league championship against Mooney at the end of the year.
Steel Valley Conference?
Steel Valley Conference back then. And so there was obviously importance there, but that was secondary to the Ursuline Mooney game. So the Steel Valley Championship was not really what you were worried about that night. You were worried about beating Mooney.
Special memory for you in that series? Did you have success other than the one?
Oh, yeah. We 2-1 against them.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm not sure what would be a special memory other than, you know, certainly I don't think anybody's won a game in that series that's been worse than 35-0. That was a special night, being able to put it on them, which doesn't normally happen. I don't care how good they are and how good we are, or vice versa. At 35-0 doesn't normally happen. So it did that night, and so that was a pretty special memory. You know, all the stuff that surrounds the game, when I played for Dick Engle, that stuff wasn't for us. You know, it was really for the student body and the alumni, where, you know, that stuff wasn't important to us. What was important to us was the game on Friday night or Saturday night when we played them. So it was a great game. You know, I'll tell you the special memory if you want one. 1984, Week 10, playing at YSU, looking up in that crowd and not seeing one seat empty.
Wow.
You know, and there was over 15,000 people in that stadium for a high school football game back in 1984. And again, they were 9-0, we were 8-1. We came off a game we shouldn't have lost to Harding. So it was a league championship, and we got in the playoffs at 9-1, and they didn't at 9-1. Back then, only the top two.
So that's like Ohio State beating Michigan and them not getting
exactly
in the playoffs.
right. You know, 2006.
Beautiful.
Yep,
Your rivalry,
2006.
you win, and then
Yep.
they're out.
Whoever won that game in 06 went. The other team went to a regular bowl game.
I bet they still fill that one. Maybe.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure. So, so yeah, it's a great rivalry. I've had some special. I was fortunate. You know, prior to my class, when Coach Engle was there, I think he was 0-7 against Coach Butchie. And then we were able to go 2-1 against, so we were able to start winning again.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Dom. And good luck to you guys this weekend.
Hey,
Big
you.
week number 9 for JFK Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Wish you a lot of luck. And,
Thanks.
you know,
Yep.
hopefully you'll be able to ride it past week 13 into 14 and maybe 15.
Hopefully we stay healthy and finish it out the right way.
Don Prologa, defensive coordinator for the JFK Eagles under Jeff Beck, the 8-0 JFK Eagles. So wish him a lot of luck going forward. And thanks for being on the show with us, and good luck in your Ursuline Mooney game as well.
Thanks.
We'll be back with more from Kelly's Bar with Yards After Contact.
High school football is in full swing in the Mahoning Valley, so come on down to Kelly's Bar at 1597 Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown, your best place to catch all the football action. On Wednesday, $5 burgers, $6 open-faced brisket sandwiches, and $2 well drinks, plus the best high school football podcast around, Yards After Contact with Gary Houstu and Ryan Kelly, starting at 7 o'clock. On Thursday, 35-cent boneless wings, $3 fireballs. On Friday, the official pre- and post-game stop for all high school football fans, fish dinners, burgers, and great happy hour specials. On Saturday, Kelly Smoker Saturdays, great Buckeye specials, 10 large flat-screen TVs, and a great spot to enjoy some Saturday college football. On Sunday, it's your NFL Sunday ticket, $5 for domestic buckets, 35-cent wings, and starting September 20th, every Tuesday night, MVP Entertainment will be here for team trivia and karaoke starting at 7 p.m. Kelly's Bar and Grill, 1597 Mahoning Avenue, Youngstown. Come for the food, stay for the fun.
And welcome back to Kelly's Bar, Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown, Ohio. This is Yards After Contact, and following Coach Perloga, we have a couple of his defensive performers here. And guys, I guess why we're having you on more or less is to congratulate you for your season so far. I know you got 2 more weeks in the regular season, but just to kind of give you guys some recognition. Maybe we know about Jacob Coates and Evan Boyd, and all that's good and everything, but there's a few more parts to your team. Let's start with you. Introduce yourself.
Ross Nasera. I